It's going to be kind of a dick around video I'm doing while I wait for 2 o'clock in the morning to hit. There are a couple things I have to do in this save because I don't do things consistently. I usually forget something and then go right back. Gotta find the police file from last update real quick.
You pick.
By the way, I just want to show off. Alright, so let's say you look at the shelf.
Hefty tomes on the topic of medieval armor. Numerous the collected.
There's no hotspot on that shelf, and if you try to touch anything else.
You don't.
Yeah, so that is the most dickish spot in the game. I also want to show off, this is the, this is Dr. Carrington's, intercom. And
you touch the intercom.
yeah, so that you get that message anytime you, fail to touch one of the buttons, and with my giant ham hands, apparently I can't touch any of the buttons, except that one.
You touch.
So the first two are kind of doable, but beyond that, it's pretty hard to get them to go. I missed all the intercom conversations anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. They don't really add much to the game anyway. So yeah, most of what I'm doing here is just kind of dicking around and waiting for some stuff to happen. There is a conversation. It's actually going to be in this update, but that's okay. Wait, no. Wait, why isn't that? Oh, I know why. I'm missing something. This is still last update. I remember now because I haven't done the thing at the mammalogy lab, and that's Wolf's office. What am I doing? Yeah, this game kind of gets you after a little while. Okay, so moving on, going in here, going to the mammalogy lab. Pick up the snake oil. Go over here. Ferret will come out. Pick up that. Pick up the meat.
You pick.
So I can't save in the mammalogy lab, but I just found this kind of amusing. If you try to feed the meat, Dr. Meatloaf's ferret. I couldn't get a screenshot of that because for some reason Fraps does not like that text box very much. I don't know why. I'm just going to leave this room quick and save just to show off how dumb that beetle death is, by the way. This is just what happens if you... Let me just save this off here. So, you look at the trunk, you open it with the skeleton key, just like I did last update, and you wait a couple seconds. You know, if you look in the trunk right now... Oh, I didn't get to do it. There is no mention of the beetles being in there. In fact, the only way to know they're in there is to die to that. So, let's do that the right way now, because that is a complete dick move. So, drop the meat in. And boom.
Oh.
Alright. So, yeah, in a dick move, if you look at the skeleton, it doesn't give you this. You have to use the magnifying glass on it, and then open it, and then look at it again. Which I did last update, so there's no point in showing that off. So from here on, this is my dick around period, because I have nothing better to do for 15 minutes other than just kind of... I don't even think it's 15 minutes real time. I think it works like Snatcher and /or Police and all. It's where you just kind of dick around for a little bit, and eventually it'll... allow you to advance. So this game is really good with having descriptions for a lot of background objects. Like if you look at any of these vats in the lab here, you've got like...
There's a vaguely humanoid shape floating in the murky liquid. After staring through the glass for a while, you see what appears to be white hair, or perhaps it's a large jellyfish.
If I remember right from the vat log, that's supposed to be the king from King's Quest 1.
Vat 5. A large, hairy creature with at least one huge claw is floating in the...
So each vat has a description, even the ones that you wouldn't normally be able to interact with.
Vat 6. Small furry creatures about the size of the average dog, colored black with white stripes, are floating in the vat.
Yeah. So there's nothing much else I can do here. I think I already listened to the conversation with Yvette here, didn't I? I think I did. Let me just make absolutely sure I did that.
You did?
Nope, I did. Okay, Ernie's office is clear. So, yeah, this is what I go through in the LP, is just reloading a bunch of saves that I don't remember what I did on them. Oh, right. Yeah, the bugs don't give a shit about me now that I've let them have their meat, so they'll just kind of be wandering around the museum for the rest of the game. So what I'm looking to do, actually, is wait for the next time change, which is to 2 a.m. But, unfortunately, that's not going to happen right away. Wait. Oh, right, this conversation. This is going to be in this update.
You lied to me.
Well, lass, I guess that makes us even. You lied to me.
You had something to do with the Dagger burglary.
You've been sleeping with someone else. I saw you go off with that dock worker.
I've never slept with Steve, and the Ziggy fellow, he told me about you and the Dagger.
And you believed that little weasel. I've arrested the man more times than I can count.
The Ziggy, I know him a long time. He would not lie to me.
That man'd lie to his own mother if someone paid him for it.
Ziggy, he says you were working with the Carrington to steal the Dagger.
Lies. You can't be trusting the man. If he wasn't already dead, I'd pound the truth out of him.
Maybe you already did.
Were you sleeping with the little rat then?
Of course not.
You really surprise me, lass.
Where I grew up doesn't matter, does it? The important thing is...
Yeah, I was hearing it too. Keep your voice down.
Yeah, so the voice acting in this game is kind of terrible. That's why I did not do a video LP of this game. The voice acting is bad. So, yeah, a lot of these background objects, like these were all busts of Roman emperors, and they all have their own, like...
What a handsome fellow. Let's see what the plaque says. Caesar Augustus, BC 63 to AD 14. Octavian, great-nephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar, he assumed the name Augustus after his sound defeat of Mark Antony left him supreme master of the Roman world. He was the first of the true Roman emperors, not counting Julius, who didn't live long enough to enjoy the title, and established the Pax Romana throughout the empire. His wife murdered him with a poisoned fig. He was a pretty nice fellow for an emperor, and everybody missed him.
So each one of these statues has a description like that. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they do. So basically, yeah, there are characters that just kind of wander around. I never show this off because they don't have anything important to say, but you can, like, question the Countess about a bunch of stuff. I can ask her about, oh yeah, so you can see how glitchy the journal gets once the hieroglyphs get added from looking at the Rosetta Stone. You have, like, these subjects here, which all kind of work, and then you go through and you have the diary that you found in the safe, like 4 updates ago. Still works. Still click on it. It's just weird how they positioned that there.
I simply don't know.
So yeah, that's her answer to pretty much everything. Like, if you try to confront her about the journal that says she was trying to murder her husband or any of that other shit, she just ignores you. So that's why there's really no point in just questioning people. They don't usually answer anything important at all. So anyway, goal here is to go to the armor room and wait for a conversation that's supposed to happen at 2 in the morning. That takes literally forever. The most efficient way is just to kind of wander around here for a little bit, because I think it counts scene transitions and not how many, not how much actual real time passes. So this room here has actually got a lot of text to it if you look at stuff. I mean, there is a lot of text here.
A rare 17th century English tapestry which tells the story of Teutonic warrior cockroaches that crossed into England from Germany and besieged the castle of Rochford-on-Essex. Although the cockroaches managed to storm the castle walls after a 90-day siege, the knights of the castle managed to squash the invaders when they reached the castle's inner keep. Since that great battle, the castle of Rochford-on-Essex has been free of cockroaches. Unfortunately, it has also been free of humans. 1 year after the great battle, everyone in the castle died of the plague. Shortly afterward, the castle fell into disrepair and sank into the swamp.
Yeah, so some of them were just kind of cheeky, like that one and this box. If you look at it, this one's also
An
kind of
empty
cheeky.
chest from the 15th century. Although the carvings on the exterior are crude, cut into the wood by someone with little talent or ability for wood carving, The chest now resides in a museum, simply because it's old. Kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Really activates my almonds. Alright, so yeah, mostly just, you're just digging around the museum waiting for the time to change. And that takes forever, so this is why I'm making a dick around video, because I have nothing better to do than wait for this to go off. This room here, this view of, I think this is actually supposed to be a view of the northern part of the armor room, is real glitchy. There's no, like, everything else in the game has voice descriptions when you look at it on the CD version. This room does not. They just kind of forgot to, yeah, so they just kind of forgot to include the voices on here, and so as a result, everything goes super fast if you look at it. So, yep. Oh, and one thing I did hint at that actually is not true, you cannot open this door with a skeleton key.
This door won't open this way.
I don't know why, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay, whatever. That door is actually used for something I haven't gotten to yet, that's the next act, I think. So, yeah, dicking around, running around the museum, just poking at stuff. The life mask room is pretty boring. It's got some really hard to reach hotspots, but it's mostly just things like...
This is...
Whoops. That's the one you get if you don't hit anything at all.
This head is French-Canadian. You wonder if French-Canadians are anything like Creoles and Cajun.
Yeah, they're not super
Whoops.
interesting. Whoops. Not super interesting here, so nothing really in this room apart from finding Ziggy's head, which was a couple updates ago. What else can I show off? I think I showed off all the secret passages and where they go to, so there's not a whole lot left to do there. What else is there, really? The painting gallery's got no descriptions at all in it, because I'll just mention how the paintings are fake. But I can keep wandering around and just kind of... Yep. There go the bugs again. So this is Wolf's office. Actually, I could show, this is the other way, I think this is where this passage goes. The other way to get to, Dr. Carrington's office. So you can click that, hit the button, and you'll just automatically go through that. I didn't click on anything. You have a couple second timer to turn your lamp on, or you just die for no reason at all. And there we go. And yeah. So that's the transition scene there. I think I showed that off a couple times yet. And then there's the secret one-way door into Carrington's office. So that's one way you can get in here without having to listen to Yvette every single time. If you were going to speedrun the game, that's how I would probably do it. But oh yeah, let's take a look at the most ridiculous murder in the game again, because I will never get over it. I will never get over how stupid this is.
It's porcupine quills, which appear to have caused Dr. Carrington's demise as they passed through his body.
Yeah, so his canonical reason for death is being shoved onto a porcupine, which makes absolutely no sense. I think they just kind of gave up, honestly, halfway through this game. The writers were just like, yeah, you know what, screw it. We can't make anything that even takes itself vaguely seriously. Not when we have some random person doing, like, the worst French accent ever, and then that guy with the Irish accent that turns on and off, depending on how he feels that day. Can I turn the lantern off? No. The lantern just kind of stays on for a little bit, and then it'll turn off after so much time. Let's see, nothing else I can really do here, just to dick around. But I just wanted to show off a little bit about, like, what... Because there's a lot of stuff you can look at that just isn't, like...
A fine example of neo-quasi-Italian Renaissance sculpture by Alberto Ravioli.
Oops.
It's one of seeming billions of ballerina sculptures that were made by Dagger, who was something. Yeah. Two Brothers Drinking in a Tavern by Rick Morgan, Dutch master, 1444. Cart Before the Horse by Suzetto Live in Godoni, 1481.
Okay, where the hell did that come from? Also, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the narrator is the same VA as that does Laura, so... Ridiculous accents must have just been kind of her thing back then. I would say her forte, but I guess not. So yeah, just dicking around the museum. Got nothing better to do. This is actually how the game goes. Like, I can't go to the next murder scene until after I have walked through this room enough. So hopefully I'll get that on camera, because this is just to show off, you know. This was the same thing I had to do to wait for 1 a.m. It's the same deal, except 1 a.m. was significantly faster. And I don't think I've missed anything. Like, there's no trigger for this. Yeah, the Egyptian room, which there's not a whole lot I can do here, because, you know, this is kind of one of those things where I don't think they expected people to go through the game quite as fast as I did, you know, having a guide and all that. But it's not something going through this game without a guide is not something I would ever recommend. There's just too many ways to get screwed over. So yeah, this is Dagger of Amon, everybody, and this is how long it actually takes just digging around to try to find try and find this stupid time change. What else? Honestly, I'm mostly in this game for the ending, just because the ending is kind of... I played through this game. I guess I can explain that here, since it's, I guess, more interesting than me just wandering around the museum. I first played this game when I was, like, I want to say 10, 11 years old. Somebody gave me this King's Quest anthology thing that had, like, all the King's Quest games up to 7 plus Colonel's Quest and Dagger of Amon on it. And Dagger of Amon was one of those games where, like, I didn't quite understand. They actually gave you, like, pre-made saves for Dagger of Amon, which allowed you to sort of bypass the time changes if you knew what you were doing, because everything's always the same, as long as you have all of the items. So, I remember, like, the last one they gave you was, the death of a character we actually have not seen yet. Well, we've seen the character, we haven't seen them die yet. And it's probably the second most ridiculous murder scene in the game after the fake Dr. Carringtons. And it gets pretty... And I saw that, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, how does that make any sense? Like, is it just... And I kind of wanted to know how the hell that made any sense, like what the context was for that. So I actually went through the game as best as I could back then, this was before GameFAQs was a thing, so I had no freaking clue what I was doing. I actually did not finish this game until after I graduated college and just used a guide to get through it, but I have finished it before. I mean, it's not a bad game by any means. It's just there's a lot of very outdated ideas about game design in here, which... Come on, where's the time change? Come on, I'm not missing anything. I know I'm not missing anything. Because there's nothing here. Like, this is just one of those things where, like, if you haven't... Like, if you've missed a lot of stuff, like, for instance, there's a couple things that you could potentially have missed here. Like, for instance, cutting the wire on the pterodactyl. Finding, you know, the crime and punishment thing, which, you know, is the police file detailing how the real Dr. Carrington is actually dead and in that trunk downstairs. Yeah.
Don't touch.
God, I hate that. Hate that don't touch it sound. That, oh god, that's I've heard that so many times. I know what I'm doing and I still...
Art is work by Fra Boberto Glisoni, painted in 1492, commissioned by Queen Isabella to keep him busy finding a new way to paint instead of discovering the new world, so that Christopher Columbus could...
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of descriptions in this game, but I kind of wish they had gotten rid of the whole, like, time change mechanic. I'll probably kill the video in a little bit, just because I have done... This is how long it actually takes. Like, I think what I usually do is I just alt-tab. I leave the game running and I alt-tab, and eventually it picks up that it's been enough time, and I just kind of... Though I'm not sure whether it runs on an actual timer or whether it runs on scene transitions. I've never quite figured that out. Actually, let me go over the inventory, too, because that's a thing I haven't done yet. So, here we have Laura's notebook, which is only really used as a device for questioning people. We have Carrington's pocket watch, which was found on the skeleton downstairs. Actually, you just saw where I got that from. The skeleton key, which was in the painting that I had to use the dagger to get. The